Welcome to Seaford. I've got to the beach just about an hour after high tide, so we're fishing the ebb today. And the plan is I've got one rod for Plaice and I've got one rod just for scratching around. I've already actually set up and cast out because I got here about an hour later than I wanted. I wanted to get here on high tide so that I was ready fishing before the tide started to recede. But, you know, sometimes life gets in the way, you get here a little bit late. So what are the tactics? Well, for the Plaice, I've got my competition performance two-piece, we'll have a look at that in a minute, paired with my Daiwa super tuned reel. And for my scratching, I brought my Banzai multi-tip rod, and it's paired with a fixed spool loaded with 20-pound line straight through, because I'm only flicking that 30-40 yards, so I don't need a shock bleeder. And I've got a little 4-ounce pyramid on there and a 3-hook rig. So again, we'll look at the rig when I reel that in, ready to bait it up and send it back out. And the tip on this rod, I'm just looking up, I thought it had a little knock. The tip on this rod is phenomenal for bite detection, but it does need to be used when the conditions are right, and today the conditions are absolutely perfect for using that rod. Let's take a look at the sea. I'll just spin you around. So hopefully you can see that there. Look at that, it is absolutely stunning today. It's a little bit of a nippy northeast wind, but the sea conditions, it's crystal clear, which it hasn't been for a very long time, and it is flat as a pancake. So let's take a look at this rod. I'll just move you around so you can see. I'll bring you back in a second actually. So here we go on the what is it, your left, yeah. I've got my two-piece competition performance here with that lovely Daiwa super tuned on it that I've now managed to tame, and the other rod with that beautiful orange tip is the Banzai multi-tip. If I just give a little tug on that, look at that, it's moved so well. If the other rod's in the way, I'll just move that a second. You can imagine what the bites are like on that, and they're absolutely phenomenal. Now that one's cast out with fresh rag. I'll show you the bait. So I've got about ½ a pound of rag with me. Look at those beauties. Really good quality. I've had them alive in my fridge for quite a long time, been keeping them in seawater, changing it every 36 hours and picking out any that look sick. And on my Plaice rod, I've got frozen lug. These are some lug I had left from when I was fishing Brighton recently. I just popped them in the freezer and I brought those out with me today. So that's the plan. And when I reel in, we'll have a look at the rigs I've got on. I'm going to be using just one rig on the Banzai multi-tip rod, and I'll have a spare rig ready to go for the Plaice. So my next job is to get that rig out, get it all ready, and then I need a cup of tea. Well guys, I'm just sitting here baiting up my spare rig for the Plaice rod, and I've just had a bite on the Plaice rod that's out there, the one on the left. I'm a bit worried it might look a bit like a dogfish bite, and I have been told there is a massive influx of dogs at the moment. I didn't come down here to catch dogs, but they're better than nothing, and they're better than a pin whiting. So I'm just going to get this rig I was baiting up hung up, and we'll take a look, see if there's anything hooked on there. So that spare rig ready to go. Just give my hands a wipe, and then we'll have a look at that bite. Right, let's see if he's on here. I cast that one over to the left, but I'm going to stand down here to reel it in, so I'll be over my other line, but I can sort that out when we get closer to the edge. I'm surprised there's nobody else down here fishing today. Like I say, the wind's a bit nippy, but there's not a single person on this beach all the way along until you get down the far end to Seaford, down that way behind you on the camera. Have we got him? This is the question. It's gone a bit light. Hopefully it hasn't spat the hook. Definitely went a bit light there. Yeah, it's got off. Oh well. Middle hook has been mullered. Let's take a look at that. Look at that. Something has had a right go. at that hook. So I'll get this rig switched over and put the other one on. We'll take a look at the other rig before I chuck it back out. So my other rig has only got one hook. This is the one hook clip down earth rig. So I'll just come over to the camera and take a look at that. So there you go. That's got a green pop-up. It's got a size 2 Aberdeen. Sorry if there's a lot of background noise, there's a lot of shingle shifting going on. A little bit of tube to kick it away from the lead. And today I paired this with a 5-ounce Aero lead from Shorecast. And that's got 2 black lug on there because they're a little bit small. So I'm going to get this one sent out, see if we can get another bite. So I just reeled in that probable dogfish bite. And like I say, I'd only been out there 5 minutes, so I'm just going to check the 2 baits that weren't attached. This is the top hook. We've got the SRT spring there. It's about a 15-inch snood, 1.0 Saltwater Champion hook. Yeah, that lug bait looks like it can go back out. Move down to the middle hook. This is the one that got mullered, so I'll take that off. We'll replenish that in a minute. And let's take a look at the bottom. So at the bottom here I've got my 5-ounce grip with a splashdown and a little short snood, and because this is a loop rig, 3-hook loop rig, we've got the cascade swivel there with a little mini rig clip, so that if I have to unhook a flatty through the gills I can unclip the hook part and don't have to pass that cascade swivel through. Bottom hook looks alright, so let's just rebait the middle and then it's going to be good to go next time I reel in. Now that worm's a little bit little for a 1.0 hook, so's that one. Have I got a bigger one? No, so I'm going to get 2 of these. Oops, dropping them on the ground. 2 little lug. I mean, they'd be alright if I was using size 4s, but I like to have a bit more bait on a 1.0. So I'm going to trim the tails, and then I'm going to trim the heads so we can let the scent out. Find my bait needle and thread one on, tail first. Oops. Make sure that needle doesn't exit the worm prematurely. And then next one, tail first. And then what I'm going to do is whip these while they're on the bait needle with elastic. So I've got my Baytech here. Give this a good whip. Keep an eye for bites at the same time. Right, so I've been up and down that worm a few times. And we'll get this on the hook. And then I'll check the position of the bait stop once the bait's around there. So even though I've put 2 worms on there, that bait is pretty much the same size as the one we took off before the fish had a munch on it. Right, reset the grips. I'm going to hang this in my tripod and get it all clipped up, ready to go back out. Well guys, it looks like I've got another doggy type bite on the left hand rod. I had just enough time to make a cup of tea on the jet boil. There it goes. I think I had a little pluck on the other one as well, the right hand one, the multi-tip with that orange tip there. Let's see if this pulls round proper. I've only got 1 hook out there this time, and the plain lead, remember. Gone a bit slack, hasn't it? Tighten it into that. I've slipped into it. See if it feels like there's a fish on there. Is it pulling back? No, I don't think so. Pop it back down. Got plain lead, so it's not like I've pulled out the grips. We'll just keep an eye on that. See if the bite comes back. If not, what's the time? Right, I'll reel it in 5 minutes if the bite don't come back, because it might have had the bait. Well guys, I just reeled into the multi-tip rod because I thought I'd had those few taps on it. Left the one with the possible dogfish on alone. And there's a bit of weight here. For a little 4-ounce pyramid lead, I think we might have a fish on the end. Look at that tip bend though. Hopefully you can see that and the other rod's not obstructing the view. Let's reel this in nice and slow. What do we have? We're near the edge. Do we have a fish? Oh no, it's a crab. Let me go and pick him up. I think he'd come off just at the edge, so he might go back in the sea before I can get him. Where'd he go? Yeah, escaped before I could pick him up. It's not what we want. We don't want a crab. Oh no, crabs. They've stripped all my bait. Anyway, let's take a look at this rig. Maybe this was the wrong tactic for the day. Mind you, still got a chance for a fish. So I've got my little 4-ounce pyramid at the bottom, and that's on like a mini pulley bead. Tronics Pro do these. I think they're called running beads. And we've got a 24-inch snood for the bottom hook. That's going to a size 4 super match. The top 2 hooks, I've actually used crimps on this rig because it's not clipped down. I don't need to fiddle with anything. Middle hook with the crimps there. Size 6 swivel between 2 beads. 24-inch snood. Size 4 super match. And the top snood's exactly the same setup. I've got my crimps there. And 24-inch snood. Down to that size 4 super match. No bait stops because it's not a clip down rig. But anyway, I'm going to get some more rag on this, chuck it out. I'll send it a little bit. Would I go closer or further? I think I might try closer just for fun. See if I can get away from them crabbies. See you in a minute. So my rag baited hooks have gone back out into the crab infested sea. Let's reel the dogfish bite in. I'm waiting for my cup of tea to cool down so I can have a swig and get some caffeine in me. Oh, that's twiddling around a bit. Tighten it up. There we go. I've got a feeling... Oh, I've got a loop in the line. Don't want that. Ooh, get that back out. Oh, I made that worse. There we are. Right. So, yeah, we don't want a hook out there with no bait on. When it's only a 1-hook rig. A bit more important to reel in and check it. But if we did have another doggy, well, I did have a doggy bite, it might have stolen the bait. Right, we're in. What's the bait looking like? Well, it actually looks pretty good. So whatever bit it, didn't come back for more. Right, I'll just chuck this one over by my box. Get that hook over there. And then we can send out this 3-hook rig. So you saw me bait this one up. We got some juicy baits ready to get chucked out. Look at those. What self-respecting place isn't going to munch them down? Let's hope it gets to one before a doggy finds it. Well, I haven't been fishing long, but it's definitely time for a brew and some food. So I made this a little while ago. That is a good temperature. It's time to get some food on. What have we got for lunch? Well, I've got my jet boil, so I can cook something up. Pot stand that you get with them. Well, some of them come with the pot stand. You can buy it as a accessory. definitely necessary when you're putting a pan on. Get that in place. We have a tin of Tesco's beef ravioli. God, I know how to live it up, don't I? About 80p for my lunch or whatever it cost. Get the pan ready. Oh, come on, sit on there. There we go. Spoon. The all-important spoon to stir it with. Now let's get this delightful meal out the tin. Cool. That's better. Mmm. Well, just when you start cooking your lunch, you get a bite. Let's turn that off. I'll come back to that in a minute. I've got a bite on the multi-tip rod. Shift this out of the way. I'll move you around so you can see. Bear with me. Right, let's lift into that and see if there's anything on here. I've just had the tip pull around a few times. Hopefully not a crab. Is there anything on there? Nope, it's not hooked itself. Let's just wait a second. Should have carried on cooking the lunch. Get a bit more out of the wind. Hopefully it's not just crabs again. It was a definite pull round on the rod tip though. But there you go. It's just pulling a little bit, isn't it? It's only out about 20 yards, if that, maybe even 10. Anyway, let's leave that be. Get back to the ravioli. Interfering bites, eh? I didn't want to think I was here to fish. I'm here to eat. Would you believe it? I've now got a dogfish bite again on the left-hand rod. Not that you can see which is the left-hand rod. The two-piece competition performance with the 3-hook loop ring. I'll leave it a bit longer this time because I missed the first couple. Unless it starts going absolutely mental, of course. I've got short-ish snoods on that rig. I think they're about 15 inches, I said. Now for dogfish, generally I'd use a longer snood, but I'm not here to target dogfish. But if I'm not hooking them, it could be that that snood's just a little bit too short to encourage them to really hit it. 24 inches is better for a doggy, I reckon. And there we go. Lunch for champions. Want some? Woohoo! I'm going to enjoy this. Well, I nearly finished with ravioli and we got another doggy bite. So I'm going to get this reeled in now. See if we've actually hooked one, eh? Let's lift into this. See if we've hooked a fish. Well, it's either very well gripped or there's some weight on here. I think we got him this time. Again, it looked like a dogfish bite. I'm kind of hoping it's not a dog. It's coming in a bit easy if it is a dogfish. Don't think there's anything on here. I think it must have just been well gripped at the beginning. There's the leader knot. Nothing. Not having a very good hookup rate here. Bites every chuck. Something's had a right go at the bottom hook. Top hook looks a bit munched as well, but look at the bottom one. Look at that. Something's enjoyed that worm. Anyway, let's change rigs. So I'll get the one hook clipped down earth chucked out that I've loaded with a couple of blacks. And then we shall check the one that's close in, the scratching rod. Put the lead down by the tripod leg so I know where to find it when I come back. How many of you done that? You chuck your rig down on the beach and can't find it? I did it once too often, hunting around for the rig for ages till I could work out where it was. So now I try and be really systematic. Right. Again, I'm going to cast this a bit to the left. Keep it away from the other rod. Pop that thummy back on. And we're good to go. So clip down earth rig, let's get it chucked out. So we're going to check the multi-tip rod now. Like I say, it's only out about 10 yards. I had those little knocks on it while I was eating my lunch. I fear it's probably been stripped by crabs again. Well, I've got more bait left. In fact, that actually looks pristine, so that's going to go back out. And I'm going to chuck it close in to try and keep away from those pesky things. So I'll just cast it from up here. Nice, gentle flick. That one went about 20 yards out to sea. Those rag really did look pristine, so I'm happy about that. That means they're there for a fish to munch up. Right. Get my 3-hook loop rig. And we'll get this guy rebaited for the next fish. Well guys, tide's dropped down quite a bit. It's time to reel in. The dogfish bites seem to have eased off, which pleases me. I never hooked any, but I really believe that's because... Oh, my eyes aren't lined up, don't like that. I really believe that's because my snoods are a bit too short for dogfish. And I'm not here to catch dogfish. So we get this one reeled in, check the bait. And I've got the 3-hook loop rig baited up, ready to go out. And then once this one's in, I'll do the same with the other. Get it reeled in, get some more little bunches of rag chucked out. I'm still scratching around in close with that. I know the water's very crystal clear today, but if it had a bit of colour in it, I'd be hopeful for flounders in close. So it's not really good conditions for those, but I'm still going to keep trying. There might be something else swimming around down there close in, other than a crab. Let's get this in. I'm glad the tide's dropped down a bit actually, because the shingle's not quite steep down there. It's easier to cast properly the more level the shingle is. And then once I've got my rigs both re-chucked out, or both rods chucked back out, I might even treat myself to a second cup of tea. I really enjoyed the first one while I had my ravioli earlier. Right, let's have a look at this bait then. Yeah, something's had a go at it. Oh, catch that hook. I was just having a chat with one of my mates, Tony, phoned me up, knows I'm out fishing today. And he just suggested try and take a couple of feet off this snood. So I might give that a go in a minute. But there we have it, look at that. So it definitely doesn't look like it did when I went out. Something's been sucking on that. And that is a sign of a flatty. So let's get these rigs changed over. And we'll chuck the 3-hook loop rig out. But there we have some beautiful baits ready to go out. I've got lug on the top, lug on the middle, and I've got quite a small lug on the bottom hook. So I've just tipped that off with a little baby rag. So let's get these sent back out. There you go. There's that beautiful juicy bait at the bottom. Oh, I've got twisting around the top eye. Never a good thing. Drops too long, get that right. There we are. Just got to put my thummy on and we're good to go with these baits. Shame I've only got these frozen lugs out. I'd like to have a bit of fresh. But it's also good for me to work down my freezer stocks some of the time. Let's get these out. So here we go. We are ready to launch these worms. Check that's not twisted again. That's good. No twisting around the top eye. The baits are good to go out. Get the lead where I'm happy with it. Hopefully I won't hit you. Again, sending it off a little bit to the left on purpose. It's probably about 75 yards out, which is just fine. Maybe a bit later on I'll try and send it a bit further. But for now, the baits are out there trying to catch that Plaice. So the Plaice rig's back out. Let's check the scratchy rig. They can't be very far out at all now. Something's just, there's either a cormorant in front of me over there, or a fish just jumped. Probably a cormorant. But very close in. Oh, we've got some weight on that. Hopefully not another crab. Oh, there's the cormorant. It's just popped his head up. That's gone lighter near the edge. Probably crabby. Yeah, nothing on that. Let's take a look at the baits. Middle hook's been stripped clean. That's probably what the crab was holding on to. The other two look alright, so I'll top those up with some fresh worms. And then we'll get it back out there. Top hook looks absolutely fine. Where's the rag? So here's the rag. We're going to get a few on the bait needle. So I've just been nicking these like an inch and a half down the ragworm before I put them on the hook. So I get the bait needle, get the worm, hold his mouth up, slide him on. So that's about an inch and a half, and then just letting the tail dangle down. I've just been putting 2 of these on a hook, 3 if they're really small, to make little bunches of worms that might attract that flounder. Now if I was serious about my flounder fishing, I'd have gone and dug some maddies, but I've been busy, too much to do in life, and quite frankly it's hard work. It's a bit of dropping a worm. So these 2 little worms, look, they're tiny. In fact, one of those might just be a bit of tail actually. So I'm going to put both those bits on, so we'll have a 3 worm hook on the rig as well. Yeah, it's just a bit of tail that's broken off. That may or may not survive the cast, but I'll put it on just in case. So there we go, we've got some little bunches of worms. We're going to go over to the rod, get these slid on the hooks. So I'll start off doing the middle hook because that had no bait left, and then the rest is going on the bottom hook, with the top hook being absolutely fine. So after being completely stripped first chuck, we seem to have got away from the worst of the crab action. So there was 1 worm left on the bottom hook, so I'm just going to top that up with these 2 small bits. Well, 2 tiny worms and a bit of tail. Making sure to pull the heads of the worms just over the eye of the hook as they get slid round. So there we go. That's all good to go back out. And I'm going to send it out about 30 yards. Right, let's get these chaps put back out the wind. Well, I've got a second cup of tea in my lovely Yeti cups. This is one of the best things I've bought for fishing. I'm sure I've said that in other videos, but it is very, very true. I've been fishing for nearly 3 hours now. The dogfish bites have definitely eased off. I'm pretty confident they were doggies. They look like dogfish bites to me, and as I probably said earlier in the video, I know there's been quite a lot caught locally here over the last few days. So I'm going to keep fishing. You can probably see the tide has now dropped down quite a bit. We're going to give it maybe another hour or 2. It was only meant to be a short session for me today because it's the last time I'm going to be able to get out for a week. And I do like being out on the beach, so I thought I'd better make the most of it, come down today, see what's about. The scratching rod is now sitting fairly motionless, so hopefully those crabs have moved off, but I bet there's still a few, those pesky little crabs out there. At least they're not spider crabs, because if they were spider crabs you'd get me singing again like I was last summer. What was it? Spider crab, friendly neighbourhood spider crab. Anyway, we'll save that one for later in the year when those horrible pests are back in their armies off our coasts. But anyway, we're still trying to catch a plaice. The water's coloured up a tiny little bit at the edge as the tides drop down, but it's still very clear. And when I arrived this morning, it was crystal clear, pretty much as far as you could see. So you'd think ideal plaice conditions, but it's been really patchy so far this year. This time last year I was catching plaice in many more numbers than I've had so far this year, but my best sessions last year were definitely in April. This video is going up just at the beginning of April, so I'm hoping that by the time you see this, actually there'll be a lot more plaice around than there are at the minute. So back to the fishing for me. I've got to watch the rods, got to enjoy my lovely cup of tea, and see how we get on. Maybe I should have wished I hooked one of those doggies earlier, but that's not, as I said, that's not what I'm here after. I wasn't too fussed about missing them, and we just keep fishing. See you in a bit. It's got a bite on the left hand rod, looks dogfish like again, look. See if we can hook this one. And then we'll know if it is dogfish. Yeah, it's on here. Definitely on it. The tide's gone down quite a long way, so once we get it in, I'll walk down. Don't want to drag it up the beach. Dogfish are hard as nails, but still, it's a living creature, isn't it? I want to treat it with some respect. Have my fun with it and put it back. Yes, we got something. Doggy, doggy. Be funny if I'm wrong. It knows it's nearly beat. Right, I'll walk down in a sec. It's just coming out of the water. Oh, what a surprise, it's dogfish. Right, I'll be back up in a second. Dog, dog, dog. Right, let's take a look at this guy. We'll get him in a bucket in a second. Unclip the rig. He's all in a ball. It isn't actually a very big one. He just fought well. Look at that. Classic doggy, curling himself up. Let's get him unhooked. I've got my T-bar somewhere. I'll angle you down, you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully that's in the right spot. There we go, got the T-bar. Oh, keep still, mate. On the hook. Quick chunk. Quick pull. And the hook comes straight out. Get the hooks out of the way. And there we have a dogfish. There we go, look at that. Cute little fella, isn't he? If dogfish can be such a thing. Come on, smile for the camera, mate. There he is. So I'll get him popped in a bucket and we get him chucked back in a second. But there we go. That's what's been giving me bites all morning. And yeah, I knew it. Right, there, he's safely in the water. I'm going to get my other rig out and get that one rebaited, and then we'll chuck him back. Might bite on the multi-tip rod, guys. I'm going to lift into this. Is it on there? Definitely wasn't a crab this time. Now I'm going to pop it back down. It's not out very far at all. Hopefully I haven't spooked it. Just give it a little bit more slack line than that. There we are. That was a definite pull down. Let me just lower the other one in case that's in your way. I've rebaited my 3-hook loop rig that I just caught that dogfish on, and I've actually loaded it up with a load of rag this time, so I've got quite a lot of rag left still, and I'm quite a long way through my session, so I thought I might as well try and use it up. Whereas the lug, if they're still reasonably frozen, they can go back in my freezer for another day. Okay, I'm just going to leave that. I'll bring you back if we get something. Well, the bite's back on the scratching rod. Just had a nice pull down. I'll just move the other one out of the way. It's a shame I can't just leave the camera running because I turn it on after the bite, of course. But whatever it was is still there having a go. I'm really hopeful it could be a flounder. I don't think it's going to be a dogfish this close in. There we go, it's pulling. So a little feel. Be nice to catch something on the multi-tip rod. No, it's still not hooked. Pop it back down. If it is a flounder, sometimes actually twitching it. Oh, we've got a bite on the other one now. There we go, look. can actually encourage it to take the bait. Oh, yeah, we got something on it. I really hope it ain't dogfish. Looks like my other one's gone a bit slack as well. But we've hooked it this time. Yeah, what I was about to say about flounders is if you twitch the bait after you see what you think is a flounder bite, it can actually encourage it to like pounce like a cat hunting a toy mouse or something. You make it twitch, it goes for it. Here we go, coming at the edge. Oh, I've got a horrible feeling it might be dogfish. Yeah, I'm going to walk down and get this chap. That was about, I don't know, 30 yards out, maybe a bit further. I cast it out quite a while ago. Let's get my T-bar and get this chap off. I didn't put a clip on this rig, so I can't just chuck it straight in the bucket. But we'll get him unhooked first. T-bar again, get the hook in the T-bar, give it a quick jerk up, and he's off. Get him out of the way of the rig before he tangles himself up. Oh, he has tangled himself up. Come on, that's it. And there we have Mr. Dog. Look at his eyes. Trying to twist himself around my arm, so I'll pop him in the bucket. There we are. We'll stick him back in a minute. Oh, he's upside down. Just getting the right way up. There we go. Curled up in a little ball he is down there. Let's take a peek. Look at that. That's what they do, isn't it, when they're scared or defensive? Curl themselves up in a little ball. Anyway, I'm going to sort my rig out, get some more bait on, chuck it back out. See you in a bit. Let's get this chap back. I've just rebaited my rig as well. I've actually put about 4 or 5 rag on each hook now, some small ones to make nice little bunches. But if we're catching dogfish about 30 yards out or whatever it was, that's not a good sign. Anyway, I'm going to get those baits back out and then I'm going to enjoy my cup of tea. Well, I'm getting the tiniest of dogfish bites on the left-hand rod. It's got the single hook URFE rig on it, and it was, I think I put on there lug tip with rag. But the first dogfish we had was just on lug. The second one we've had is on the rag that were really close in, which surprises me. The sea must be full of dogs. Full of dogs. But it is nice and clear now. Maybe they'll move off. I would normally think of catching dogs when it's a bit coloured, but they're definitely here. The right hand one just went again, the multi-tip, little gentle knocks. That's on the big bunches of rag I chucked out, and it went about 25 yards. It hasn't been out there long, so it's still about 25 yards out. The tide hasn't really dropped down much since I cast it out. And the little gentle tap I had on the left-hand one hasn't come back. It was a very delicate dogfish bite. They're not even big dogs, are they? Little ones. Little dogs. I might call it a day soon. What have I been fishing for now? Nearly 4 hours. I want my flatties. I love flatties. Didn't come to catch dogfish. But you know what? Seaford, it's the dogs. Oh dear. I'm just going to lift into this one. It hasn't moved for a little while. I just had very small taps on there. No, nothing on that. It's got the plain lead on. I'd feel it pretty well, pretty clearly, if there was a fish on there. Let me get my tea. So what do you think of the Plaice fishing down Seaford then, eh? It's not exactly what I hoped for this session, is it? One rod for the Plaice, catches dog. One rod scratching around for bits in close, catches dog. It's going to be the story of the day. I was told someone had, I think it was last night or the night before, 20 dogs out. And that was I think that was in a darkness session. But if I'd had my dogfish rigs on and been trying to hook them, I probably would have had one, most trucks, except for I think it was about an hour when it went quiet earlier. So that would have been quite a few dogfish, wouldn't it? If you love catching dogfish, that's great. Sometimes I'd be quite happy catching dogfish, but that is not why I came out. I really want the place to start turning up in numbers. Brighton Marina's open again, so hopefully I'll be making some more videos down there soon. I quite like fishing that venue. It's a long walk from the car park, but it can be quite a nice day's fishing. And great to see they've been able to get the arm open again. It must have been a pretty tough winter for them. No business from the fishing because of how bad the damage was and the algae build-up and everything. So thanks to the team down there for working hard to get it open. It's only open partially last time I looked at the reports, which was a while ago. But yeah, so that's good. Another nice fishing venue coming back for us down here on the Sussex coast. I think my left-hand one just went again then, but I only saw it at the corner of my eye. So anyway, given the state of the dogfish infested seas, I think I'll have 2 more casts on each rod. Keep sticking big bunches of rag out because I've got quite a few left. It's a shame there's no one else fishing down here. They could have had the rest of my rag, but I'll chuck them back in the sea, then they've got a chance of living, or at least feeding something. My tea's nearly finished, so that's a sign, isn't it? I've got enough water to make another cup, but you know, maybe I'll start tidying up my rubbish, sorting out all my stuff I've got scattered over the beach inside my shelter. Not a very tidy one today. Oh, the multi-tip does just look like it's twitching a bit, but it's such a sensitive tip. That could just be a little crab or something having a go. I do love that rod. It's perfect for the summer when the mullet turn up. Yeah, just so sensitive with the bites, but you know, like I say, you need the right conditions for it. But it's a really lovely rod to have. I'm just going to lift into that actually and just see if there's any resistance there. I don't think that's anything to be taken seriously, but just a little pull. No, nothing there. It's certainly not a rod for chucking a lead distance, but it's a fantastic rod for scratching in close. Brilliant for flounders, mullet, garfish if they're in close, anything really. Anything small, the summer species, schoolie bass, you name it, even fishing for bigger bass in the river I've used it for. But it's a rod with a purpose, it's not an all-rounder. Anyway, I'll stop my ramblings and start tidying up my stuff inside that shelter. See you in a bit. Actually, just turned the camera off saying see you in a bit, and this bite is here. No, I just can't hook it. Maybe I'll hold the rod for a little bit. No. It's really not very far out. Come on, give us an indication that you're there. Like it's going to listen to me. Little twitch. So if I'm going to pull that round, just get that bait to move a little bit. Oops. There we are. Let it go slack. Take up the slack. Reset the tip. How I want it. No, I think it might have gone. I think we might have missed this one, guys. Okay, let's get it in. Sort out my baits. I've reeled that in a fair old way. Must be coming out of the water any second. Oh, it's out of the water already. I was looking slightly the wrong direction for it. We check the baits, get those hooks reloaded, get it stuck back out there. So which hook's been munched? Bottom hook, I think. Yeah, top hook, 2 hooks look untouched. So I'll get some more bait on the bottom. Get a nice bunch of worms back on there. Yeah, something's had to go at the bottom hook. Half the bait's gone. Take those off. Stick some fresh worms on there. I'll just double check the others before I go and get some more bait out. Yeah, middle one looks alright, top one looks pristine. Anyway, I'll get those rebaited, I'll bring you back in a bit. Well guys, I had some little knocks on this rod earlier. I didn't feel myself reeling in, but I've done it. I'm going to walk down the shingle and I'll be back and I'll show you what I got. Ta-da! The target species at last. I've fished through those dog bites. I made my snood shorter like my mate suggested, and it's done the trick, and it's picked us up the target species. It may not be the biggest plaice in the world, but it is what I came to catch. I'm going to get him in a bucket, get some more baits out, then we'll unhook him, get him put back. We are on the Plaice. Woohoo! So that Plaice is on the single hook clip down earth rig where I got that shorter snood. So we're going to get this guy unhooked. Let's see what he measures. He's small, 28 centimetres nearly. Now I can't see the hook, so we're going to use through the gills method. Just get the bait out of the way, and I've slid up the pop-up bead as well, so that's not in the way. We don't want to take that through the gills. I want to be as gentle to the fish as possible. So on my channel there is a short, so if you look under the short section, showing just how to do this unhooking. It can be a bit fiddly if you're not used to it. Even if you are used to it, sometimes it can be fiddly. But we pass the line, the snood line, through the gills, and then the end, I'm just going to put that lead on my box actually, it'll give me a bit more room to manoeuvre, a bit more line. And you find the end with the hook on, and oh, which one round is it? Right, that side. Pull the snood with the hook, then you can get the hook in your fingers, turn the hook. Maybe I can do it with my fingers. Yeah, the hook's definitely still in the fish. Once I've got this, I'll pop the fish back in the bucket, but this is a really good way to get the hook out without causing the fish to bleed, as long as you can get it to pop out once you've turned it round. It's well hooked, guys. Right, hook's out. Now I actually did that by pulling the hook itself through the gills, so I'm going to chop the hook off and retie it, and then I don't have to push that back through the gills. The line will just slide right through. There we are. Now that line's out, pop the fish back in the bucket. But there we go, look, unhooked without bleeding everywhere. My box is a bit slimy, but it'll recover nicely in that bucket. I'll get the hook tied on because that's going out for one more chuck, maybe two if I get another Plaice. There's my hook, don't want to lose that. Take the bait off of it. So that was caught on ragworm and lugworm, the cocktail. Pop that hook there, we'll give this a good wipe because I'm going to sit on that in a second. Don't want to sit on fish line now. Right, so I'll get the last bit of lug there off the hook, try and keep my sequin behind. Get my hook, we just tie this hook back on. Now if I'd been using a bar rig, this would have caused me all sorts of problems because the distance from the hook to the cascade swivel would have changed. But using this clip down earth rig, I don't have to worry about that. It's one of the things I like about it. Just check out all my rods there. See what I'm doing. I'm just doing a quick 6-turn blood knot because it's easy to tie. Pull that down nice and tight, trim the end, and slide the pop-up bead back down. So there we go. I might have lost an inch off the snood, but that's not a big deal. So to get this rebaited, I'll try another lug and rag cocktail on that. You got a Plaice? Well, I just reeled in the multi-tip rod because I noticed the tip was just pulling round a bit. I thought, looks a bit suspicious. And look what we got, Mr. Crab. I'm going to go and chuck him back. The hooks are nearly stripped and this little fella needs to be set free. So I think I'm going to pack the multi-tip up. I'll have another, I said I was going to have 2 more chucks and that was a chuck ago. But I think, given I caught that Plaice, I'm going to give the Plaice rod 2 more casts, so it's an extra one. Just see if we can pick up another one before I pack up. But I'm going to get the multi-tip one get my words straight. I'm going to get the multi-tip rod packed away because I don't want to catch any more of these little pests. Well, we're just reeling in the 3 hook loop rig, and I'm wondering if there's anything on the end. I'll pack the multi-tip rod away. So we're focusing purely on the Plaice now. Spurred on by catching one of what I came for. So when this comes back in, I'm going to get it rebaited with ragworm, so I've still got probably about, I don't know, £1/4 pound left, which is quite a lot really. And I've got my single hook clip down URFE rig ready to go back out, loaded with rag and lug cocktail. So that's a whole lug tipped off with a sort of small to medium size rag. And that's what I caught the Plaice on. And there's always hope while we've got baits out in the water. This one must be nearly in now. Near the edge, the moment of truth. Did those ragworm baits pick anything up? Where are we? Not quite out of the water yet. Ah, nothing. So I'll get this reeled up, change the rigs over, cast back out and then rebait this one to send it out one last time. Hopefully then I can still beat the rush hour going home. We're pretty close to low tide now. In fact, look at that. That has been totally stripped. There is not one single bit of bait left on any of the hooks. That's just the middle one there. Crabs are rife. That's not what we want, is it? It's a sign of summer. A sign that summer's on its way. But I want bait on my hooks to catch a Plaice. Not no bait on my hooks being eaten by crabs. Right, so we'll get this one back out. Look at those delightful baits. We don't want crabs to eat them, do we? Oops, catching the tripod. I'm going to get these out there. Well guys, I'm just reeling in my last chuck. And it feels like I might have something on there. Could we have Plaice number 2, I wonder? Definitely got some weight. Hopefully not crabs holding on. Because we've had a mixed tactics session. Using one rod for Plaice and one rod scratching. And I think it's fair to say we've had mixed results. We've had dogfish, a lot of dogfish bites that I missed, probably because I got the wrong snood length for them. But that's not what I was coming to catch. We had the target species, the lovely Plaice. And we landed 2 of those pesky crabs that have been stripping my hooks clean. There could be a crab on here. If it goes light near the edge, I'm going to guess that's what it is. Because they've really come onto the feed in force over the last about half hour. Crabs is not what we come for. Dogfish is not what we come for, but at least that's catching something. Have we got anything on here is the question. We've gone low tide now. So it's quite a long way down. If I've got a fish, obviously I'll have to walk down and get it. Have we got anything? No! Anyway, thank you for watching. See you next time. Probably on a Sussex beach somewhere near here. This has been Seaford. Targeting Plaice and other species. Thanks for watching. Just as I'm saying goodbye to you, I'm going to say goodbye to this Plaice that we caught earlier. It's been sitting in the bucket a while. Let's get it back. Whoa.